Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're diving into the amazing 4th season of Steven
Universe. This season we find out much more about the crystal gems, the threat of Homeworld and Rose Quartz's past, as Steven struggles to learn his true destiny.
Right. And this
Another fun season.
Yes, definitely. And things are really starting to get crazy, which I only knew some of the stuff coming, not like different plots and everything, but things were going to get heavier. One, of course, from Sylvian, who commented on our 2 other Steven Universe podcasts. Thank you, Sylvian.
Yes.
And the stuff that happened with everybody all subscribed to during the time it came out. And every day there was some review or theory or reaction or mashup or something about stuff that was going on. It was like, oh my gosh. And I was the only one who didn't know what was going on because I hadn't watched the show.
Yeah. But now we are. And
right.
we are attempting to catch up to Future. Is it Steven Future?
Steven Universe Future, yes. Which is the limited series that's concluding the franchise.
So we will be there before you know it.
Right. Because after this, we've got one more season left, and then the TV movie from Cartoon Network.
Yes, which will be a spotlight episode for Paws On Animation.
Yes. And definitely had a great time watching these episodes. There were more comedy episodes, I think, to make up for the fact that stuff is getting dark, especially with towards the end of the season, with the huge cliffhanger, and then season 5 immediately going back with the cliffhanger and still being dark. So as the now standard for American animation, the stuff starts off pretty lighthearted with the season and doing some really fun stuff, and then as it gets towards the end of it, it starts getting darker, more plot driven. I'm like, oh my god, help this child, because as you can see, for future, Steven now needs therapy.
Right. Now, amidst all of this craziness and fun and the turn to, as you said, a darker arc, we get to meet more crystal gems.
Right. Remember last season we had met Bismuth, and we knew about Yellow Diamond, and here you get to meet Blue Diamond and some of these other gems that are still on Homeworld.
And you really get to see which Yellow Diamond is.
Yes. And the whole, like, I think
and then the little
most
blue one, what was her name? She
was
like a little pixie.
was a blue pearl. Yeah, they have a blue pearl and a yellow pearl.
Yes.
And then they had 2 other gems. I don't know what they're called, but they were sort of serving as, I guess, lawyers when they had the 5th season. I don't know what they were called, though. I didn't catch the name.
Start with the G. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And I do know we got to see more amethyst.
Right. We got an amethyst and pearl.
And she felt at home. She was so happy.
Right. There were a bunch of other amethysts. And we actually got to see what they were saying, like, amethyst came out too quickly and how she ended up looking like that. And you got to see what they had their amethyst look like. And we were so used to this design, now that looks weird. It's just like, they look more like Jasper, so she would have been beefy as her, and like, nah, I don't think that would have worked out with people.
You're right. I do like the original amethyst. That's what we're going to call her.
Right. And story, Steven wants to know, more about his mom, because for the past 3 seasons, maybe he felt the same as the audience. 3 seasons and you don't know much about the mom. I mean, you got the backstory with her and his dad, and some minor things with the gems, but in terms of Rose Quartz herself, she was still pretty much a mystery to Steven and some of these other characters. And they also bring up this thing that where the accusation that she shattered Pink Diamond, which was one of the rulers of Homeworld. And it becomes, that's where the major arc starts to really unfold, like halfway through, when Blue Diamond kidnaps Greg to put him in this, they got a human zoo.
Yeah.
And it's literally what it is. They have they don't have any idea that they're captured or anything like that, because it's been thousands of years. And the way it's set up is almost kind of unnerving.
Well, you've seen this trope done in other shows, like if any of you have watched the original Star Trek or Star Trek Next Generation or other sci-fi shows, you've seen this. But I love the way Rebecca Sugar wrote this. It was a totally different concept, because unlike on other shows where you find out they're being tortured and all of this happens,
right,
they're actually being treated very well. And they're very happy because they don't know anything but what they've been taught.
Right.
And they have like the little earrings that they put on them that allows them to communicate with them without being there with them. And they have an eating time and a watering time and a playtime, I guess you can say.
Yeah, I guess it's all necessities.
But they're all in this beautiful, absolutely beautiful environment. And they're happy because even when Steven shows up, his dad was, he's like, "Oh, hey, Steven, how'd you get here?"
He wasn't being tortured.
Happy.
Yeah.
So it was different from other shows that have done this trope where they actually were kind and nice to them in the zoo.
Right. And it was basic necessities and stuff. So they actually did do whatever research they had to on humans. So it wasn't like they were guessing and they were just treating them like the gems. Even when they caught them when they were going all over the place and crazy, it wasn't like an abusive way or like a cage jail keeper or anything. They were more calmer with them and had to talk to them to calm them down. So like you said, that's way different than other shows just making it slave drivers. So
they were happy. They weren't doing anything but just being in this environment.
Right. Like that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it was. Absolutely.
And then of course you get to see more of Blue and Yellow Diamond, and this starts going into like towards the end of the season, and then of course with season 5 with the trial, which we will definitely get to.
And Blue Diamond is emo.
Yeah, the most emo creature in all of existence. Like, you can't top this. Is where it all started. But yeah, they even got a whole song dedicated to that emo-ness. So, but yeah, you do get the story, why she is like this, and there's not an entire backstory. I do have it later, but for right now, it was more like this eternal mourning for Pink Diamond, and that's probably why she took Greg, because he understood she felt about someone who had passed on, and the grieving he was going through, and that's why she had taken him. So it starts to become more of like these other gems and stuff can understand humans, but they only see the Yellow Diamond and others only see them as things on the planet that are unnecessary, and if it's not for their cause, they don't want them or need them.
Right. And we also learned that there was a different family name for the universes, and that Greg changed, and Steven said, "That's not even my name." He says, "Here's your name. I just changed it." So he legally changes his name. But it was weird hearing that there was another family name besides Universe, because you thought that was the character's name. Doesn't change anything, but it was interesting to know a little more backstory. How it was being put in, randomly. It seems random at times and you didn't expect it. It made it more interesting this season. Oh,
I definitely want to point out before we get to towards the end with the more story-driven stuff, I definitely want to point out, like we said, the filler episodes were still very, very fun. Some of them had a little bit of emotion and stuff in it, but they were still fun. One of the standouts, I think, for me has to be the Zoltron episode, the fortune teller. I'm like, oh, hi, you changed one letter. I don't know this show.
To me, it's like they combine Zarkon and Voltron.
Yeah, like Zoltron, boy of the future. And I thought that was hilarious. Like, and yeah, she does watch that show, and she watches My Hero Academia. So you're like, hey, this Voltron, without actually saying Voltron for copyright. And yeah, all the filler episodes were very, very fun, very engaging. You got to see stuff about the other characters. You started to get more hints about Pink Diamond and Rose and other characters and stuff.
And you also get to see a side of Steven you haven't seen before. He's starting to get angry when he thinks about his mom. And he was starting to see her in a different light. And you saw him be angry and speak gruffly to people, which isn't what he does. So it was a different side of him, which comes, of course, with growing up, and maturing and emotions and the stuff, and so forth.
And we understood that the frustration was he could never meet her, he didn't know anything about her, and barely anybody else knew about her either. So you had this mystery about this character, his own parent, and he can't even find out that much about her.
But also he was becoming angry because he was hearing different stories from different people of things she did that she didn't tell, or how she, for example, when she took bismuth and bubbled her, but she didn't tell him the truth of what happened, and he was like, "You're a liar," and it was like, ooh.
Yeah. And then especially when it gets to the end of the season, they introduce Aquamarine and I think Topaz, and they start gathering up Steven's different friends, and we weren't really sure why. We won't spoil why, but we weren't sure, why it was happening, because they had been having instances where people were disappearing and even missing for days or weeks on end, and no one could find any trace of them. And it definitely builds up to, what's coming up for season 5. And we're definitely excited to see it because, things are going to get very, very heavy with the stuff that's been stuff online. And the future definitely being a show now that they're like, this is getting hard to watch. Definitely looking forward to what's coming next.
Okay, 2 more things. We also got to see Connie and Steven apart because she was a little heartbroken that she didn't end up going with him to save his dad. And she was just like, oh, well, I understand, but you knew she really didn't. She wanted to be there. And then 2, we got to see, forgive me guys, Stevani and how they are growing together as
a fusion, yeah.
Right. So those are things that are all just working into the arc very nicely. And now we know a little bit more about her mom as well.
Right.
She says, her mom always stays in touch. She never doesn't call. She never not lets you know where she is.
It's not just the overprotective part.
When it happened where she didn't hear from her, Connie started freaking out and hyperventilating and panicking. She couldn't concentrate. She didn't listen to Steven. And again, you're learning more and more about the characters indirectly by these different things that happen. So, I am looking forward to season 5. I can't wait till we begin it today.
Right. And then eventually we'll be on the Steven Universe movie. That's definitely going to be something exciting because that is the reason why I really wanted to go back to the show and see, should we stick with it? And I'm glad we did.
Yes. And Looney Cat, we can't wait to see the movie.
Yes.
And Sylvia, we can't wait to hear from you, Mija.
Yay! So, be sure to tell us what you thought of season 4, what you like or didn't like, or how did this appeal to you compared to the previous seasons. And we're looking forward to seeing you again on season 5 in the future videos.
So, don't make sure to leave comments for us. We love hearing your comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell for notifications so you can be up to date on all our Steven Universe podcasts.
Yes. So, thank you so much for watching. I'm Masculine Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.
And reporters sitting, flashing lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you want to do? Well, man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. Hit her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket, give it to you later on in the phone.